Hey guys, welcome to Shuffle. We are a team that does TCG games, mostly Lurkana and Gundam right now. We're going to branch out into One Piece and probably rip out when that comes out. So today, we're making a video on the best LR cards and Gundam card game right now. So we're going to go over these cards. We're going to rank them from S to D. S kind of being, the most impactful card without needing a pilot or any other cards in the field to really, make it a game changer. A is pretty much, it can stand on its own most of the time, but needs a pilot to really excel. B is kind of like vanilla, does okay, does good. C is kind of like, this card, give or take, isn't really impactful. And D is just like, why did they even make this into an LR? So the first card we're gonna go ahead and talk about is Gundam, directly from the booster set, not from the starter deck. So this card basically says all your white team base units gain repair 1. Now that's pretty good, right? Because any of your white beast team units, they can go and challenge, they can trade back and forth, and they'll repair 1 afterwards. But the kicker here is that when paired, so it doesn't matter, it doesn't have to be linked. It can be paired to any pilot. If you have 2 or more other units in play, draw a single card. So we know in this game right now, the current meta, draw is almost king, right? As you start getting up to the higher level into the end game, your hand starts to become depleted, and it's really hard to not just top deck everything. So I think this card overall is pretty decent. Now, it does need help, right? So you need to have 2 other units on the field to play it, and it has to be paired with something. So those are 2 requirements in order to get your 1 draw. Now, the 2 units can be anything else. It doesn't have to be, straight actual real units. It could also be tokens. So we know, white likes to make blockers, and usually paired with a white blue, it does pretty well. But I'm going to go ahead and put this in the A tier, just for the fact that I think it's decent, has good stats, 3-3, and then when it's paired with anything, any other pilot, you can draw cards as long as you have 2 other units on the play. The next one we're going to take a look at is going to be, let's take a look at this. We're going to look at the Gundam that comes in the starter deck. I think overall, this Gundam is pretty good. I think that what it offers is right on the field when it's impactful, right? Especially it goes to, it's a level 4, costs 3, and then you can link him or pair him with a unit. And then during pair, all your units get +1 attack power, which is really good, in my opinion. On top of that, he has repair too. So if you link him, you can swing into something, and you essentially can repair 2. So you can take out anything that's like 3 and under with attack power. Since he does still need to have a pilot for all the +1 attack power, he's still reliant on that. But my opinion, though, that offsets it by the repair too. So I think he can go ahead and go up into the S tier. He is very impactful when he gets on the field. He, when you go against red, blue, pinging, he can repair itself. Overall, it's a pretty decent card. Next, we're going to go ahead and take a look at, let's take a look at Gundam Sight. This card is currently played in a green-white meta deck, mostly, ramping. The main purpose of the Sight Gundam is to ramp, and it's pretty good. You can ramp pretty quickly into Gundam Wing 0 and do the 3 damage across the board. We're talking about that card here in a little bit. But overall, it's kind of a vanilla card if you think about it, right? It comes out, on turn 6, cost 4. If you don't have a Operation Meteor pilot with it, you don't get any of the benefits. So it has to be paired with a particular pilot. But when you do get the ramp, and you do get that first strike. I'm going to go ahead and put it in the A tier, as it is very reliant on having a pilot. Besides that, it's just kind of vanilla. So the next card we're going to go ahead and take a look at is the Wing Gundam that has come in the starter deck. So this one comes in starter deck 2. I feel like this card, I don't want to say is broken, but very slightly overtuned, right? It comes out, of course, on turn 6. You can drop it, but it has breach 5, and the kicker though is that it can attack units that's level 4 or lower, which is really good. Um, with that breach 5, whenever you take something out, most bases have 5 health, so one swing into this, you pretty much open up their shields. I think this is better than the Gundam that came in the starter deck. So I'm going to go ahead and put it ahead of the Gundam, as it's just so impactful. And especially if you're ramping, you can get this out on turn 5. It's just really, really, really strong card. The next card we're going to go ahead and take a look at is Talagis. Now, Talagis is an interesting card to me. It has a 4/4 baseline stats, and it also says activate on your main. You can pay 4 resource and set the unit as active. Now, it sounds good, right? In order to attack twice in a single turn, but you're wasting 4 resource. I don't think it's very impactful. I feel like it's a waste of resources. There's other things you could do. Granted, you can, play him, on turn 5, and then on the same turn you could essentially link him or pair him with another pilot, and you can take something out. But when he comes down that first turn, it's not like you can reuse his ability, right? So he just kind of sits there on the board for a turn, and hopes that he won't get removed. You have those cards that tap them down, hope you don't get bounced back. It's not really that good. I don't really like Talagis that much. I think maybe in future sets he could be pretty good, but he's just not very good in my opinion. He just costs too much to actually use. You're basically using 8 resources to attack twice. And as a 4/4, he could be good as a finisher, right? So if they only have 1 shield left, but those are a dime a dozen, that's not gonna happen that much. I think I'm gonna put him down into I think he's a C tier in my opinion, just for the fact that I don't feel like he's very impactful. Okay, next we're gonna go ahead and talk about Wing Gundam Zero. Now this card is a card. For it being a level 8 costing 8, I believe the cost is fair for what he does. But coming down and doing 3 damage to all units that are level 5 and under is kind of strong, especially in the current metagame. It's crazy. He also has high maneuver, so you just chunk right into their shields if you need to. I mean, into their base if they need to. It can't be blocked, so if you just want to, if there's a unit on the field that your opponent's trying to protect with blockers, and it's tapped down, you just smack right into it. It is fairly balanced to a point to where it does do 3 damage to all your units. So of course, when you use it, you really got to think about when you're going to use it. If you have a bunch of units that are level 5 and lower, you don't want to just throw them out there at the start of your turn. You kind of want to plan around it. So but I do feel like as damage, most cards when it comes to damage are either ping for 1 or it has a lot of challenging in this game. So currently, in order to get damage off, I feel like just slapping him down on the field and getting 3 damage on all level 5 and lower is kind of crazy. Of course, it is offset by his costs, but I still think he is up there. He is, I feel like, the number 1 LR currently in the game, and there's not really anything else that can kind of come close to him. The next thing we're gonna go ahead and talk about is, let's talk about Unicorn Gundam Destroyer mode. I think the card's pretty good. It says when playing this card from your hand, you may destroy 1 of your link units with Unicorn mode in its card name, and then that is level 5. And if you do, play this card as though it is level 0 and cost 0. So I feel like that can sometimes be a difficult setup. So the link, it has to be linked. You know, the card that you're trying to destroy has to have a link into it, right? In Unicorn Gundam, so that's a hard setup there. But what is actually crazy about this card is the choose one enemy unit on attack and rest it. So kind of like Wing Gundam with high maneuver, if you kind of think about it, you can kind of choose. I guess that's wrong. Let me rephrase that. You can rest units that your opponent has placed the turn before, or just any unit that they're trying to keep up protected, right? So it's kind of crazy that you could do that. You know, you can smack 5 into the shield, smack 5 into a unit, and on top of that, you can choose to have another unit be rested. Also, on attack, maybe I'm wrong about that. I'm thinking on attack, choose one enemy unit and rest it. Okay, so you can't choose the same unit you want to attack with. I mean, you want to rest. Okay, cool. So you can use that to follow up with your other units to attack their other units on the field, and you know, clear out their board. And it's just good overall, in my opinion. I'm gonna put it into the A tier, as in it still needs a pilot, and not just a pilot, a linked pilot, in order to get its free ability off. But besides that, it's pretty decent. Not bad. It's not bad. Okay, the next Gundam we're gonna go ahead and talk about is going to be the Unicorn Gundam O2 Banshee Destroy mode. Okay, it says during link and attack, choose 12 cards from your trash, return them to their owner's deck, and shuffle. If you do, set this unit as active. It gains first strike during this turn. When this unit is attacking, it deals damage before the enemy unit. So that's pretty decent. Still, though, it needs a link card, right? So you need Meridia Cruise. If you don't have Meridia Cruise, this is pretty much a 5/4 that costs 4 on level 6, and you don't get the ability. I don't know if I really like the ability that much. Choose 12 cards from your trash, return them to their owner's deck, and shuffle it. I guess it's good for recursion if you're trying to recur cards, but overall, I just don't think it's very good. This is a very niche card. I feel this isn't going to be played a lot. It's not going to be meta defining. There's no really good cards that you're really trying to grab out. There's not really meta defining commands right now. So I just don't think this is a very, very good card. This is something that I would kind of put in the C tier. It just doesn't feel like it's anything special unless you have the stars line up. The next one we're going to take a look at is going to be, let's take a look. Kishiratira? I'm really bad with names, so forgive me. It's a red card, level 5, cost 4. When paired with Cyber New Type or New Type Pilot, choose 1 or 2 enemy units and deal 1 damage to them. Now, I see this card being played a lot in red, blue, ping control. I think it's decent. Of course, you need to have... Oh, so it's just actually being paired. So this card, you just have to pair it with anything that's Cyber New Type or New Type Pilot, and that's pretty good. Red Blue has a lot of pinging abilities that when, you know, if there's a exerted or a tap down unit, you can do a damage to it, and you can choose 1 or 2 enemy units and ping 1 damage to them, which is pretty good, especially if you're challenging into things and you just need that one, 1 extra point of damage. You can clear the board, right, with 2 with this unit. So I would put this in the B. It's just because it's a little bit reliant, and the 1 damage is good, but it's not meta defining. It's just good and situational. Okay, let's look at what else we have next. We're going to go ahead and look at Chars. So it says discard 1 Xeon Neon Xeon unit. If a pilot is not paired with this unit, choose 1 pilot card that is level 3 or lower from your trash and pair it with this unit. Now, this is pretty good in my opinion. You can discard the unit card, and if this isn't paired, you can choose something from your trash and pair with this unit. It's kind of getting like a free a free pair, right? Basically, you can use a pilot, smack into something, trade, and then put this bad boy down. Turn 4, discard a card from your hand, and then pilot it the same turn. I like it for the fact that it does give you graveyard recursion. I don't think it's meta defining, but it is definitely strong to a point to where you put it down 4/4, be able to attack same turn, or even just get a pilot on it so it has more attack and more defense. I'll go ahead and put this in the A tier. Okay, let's go on. The next one we're gonna go ahead and take a look at is going to be the Aegis Gundam. It says, on attack, if this unit has 5 or more attack power, choose one enemy that is 5 or higher, deal 3 damage to it. I think that this card is going to be pretty decent also. For it just needs to be paired with anything. It doesn't have to be linked. So most fights give you at least 1 attack power. So the moment it comes down on turn 4, you could play this and then play the card it links to, or wait a turn and pair a pilot to it, and then the moment it attacks, you can choose one enemy unit that is level 5 or higher. So most likely, if you're going second, you're going to have this out when they put a level 5 out and deal 3 damage to it. This is kind of like budget version Gundam Wing Zero. So you can still choose to do 3 damage. I think this works good. And blue-red pinging. So this is kind of like a finisher for you ping a couple damage, you play this, you attack with it, and you can do 3 damage or something. The good thing about this is that it's just on attack. So even if you attack their base, you can still choose and do 3 damage to a particular unit, which is really good. I'm actually going to put this card in the B tier because it still needs a pilot to be decent. But overall, it's a pretty good card. The next one we're going to go ahead and take a look at. We're going to take a look at Aerial Strike Gundam. Now, I'm a little biased towards this card. This card came on the starter deck 4. It won me many matches in the starter deck. I'll call them challenges, starter deck events. And I just think this card's good overall. Even without the level 4 or higher pilot connected to it. It's it comes out on turn 5. It costs 4. So that means that you can play any pilot with it. Now, the cool thing about this card is that it doesn't have to be linked. It just has to be a level 4 or higher pilot. And then you can choose one enemy with 4 less HP, which is kind of crazy, right? 4 less HP, and return it to the owner's hand. So that's almost any card in the game currently you can bounce back to your opponent's hand. It's also has a blocker stat on it, so even when it's paired or linked, it's a strong blocker that can trade with most units. I just think overall this card, even with the paired ability, is amazing. This is probably one of the few cards that I feel like even with the paired abilities, it's gonna be S tier. I'm gonna go ahead and smack that. Not the last one, but second to last. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and take a look at the next one. We're gonna take a look at. We're gonna take a look at Gundam Aerial Rebuild. So this says, when paired, so it can be any unit. Choose one command card that's level 5 or lower from your trash and add it to your hand. This, in a game, the current state right now is not very good, in my opinion. It's top ended. It's level 6, costs 5. So you can still technically pair it on the same turn. But the issue with this is that I feel like there's just no real big impactful command cards that you really want to grab out. You can't use the command card right away. It takes a turn most of the time. There's just nothing crazy to want to play this with. I think there's like one Command Matters deck, and even then that deck isn't something that's going to be really meta defining. So I think in the current state of the game, so don't give me no, hatred right now for this. I think this card's gonna be D. Like, there's no point in being printed right now. It just doesn't seem very good. It's very high end. In order to even be usable, I think this is like a green-white deck that kind of, would reuse some of the commands that green does, but even then the commands that are in green at the moment are just ramping that most people use, or there's also like deck searching, but I just don't think it's very good in the current meta, nor do I think it's good right now, and unless they do something crazy with commands, I don't think it's gonna be good at all ever. So I just don't think this. Next we got Charge Zaku 2. When destroyed, look at the top 3 cards of your deck. You may reveal one Xeon or Neo Xeon unit card from among them and add it to your hand. Return the remaining cards randomly to the bottom of your deck. I like this card. It is a it's mostly for aggro. It does something right when it comes out. Well, not right when it comes out, but it does something when it's destroyed. So it has that 3/2 pressure for early game, taking out the EX base, and when it's destroyed, basically it replaces itself, right? So look at the top 3 cards. Reveal a Xeon, Neo Xeon unit, and it pops right back to your hand, whatever unit you pick. And then of course you got to shuffle the other 2 onto the bottom of your deck. Well, you don't shuffle your deck, but you shuffle the other cards that you drew and put on the bottom of your deck. I think this is really, really good for a rush deck. Of course, this is something you would pair with red, as this is a Xeon, Neo Xeon kind of focused deck. I actually think this is an S tier, card. I think I think there hasn't really been much, looking into this kind of card, but I think overall cards that replace itself are going to be pretty strong, right? You're able. It's basically you play your unit, gets destroyed, does whatever you got to do. It either trades with a unit, and then you can play whatever unit you search for, or it takes a base early on and it gets taken out and hopefully trades with another unit. It's going to do about 2 things. It's doing 2 to 3 things for this one card. So I think it's pretty good in my opinion. I just don't think people are really looking at it yet. The next card we're going to go ahead and take a look at is going to be the Buster Gundam. So Buster Gundam is a level 4 that costs 2, and on activate it has support 3. So if you don't know what support means, basically support is you can give another friendly unit the AP. So the attack power, specify what the support is. So if this is support 1, you give a unit 1 extra attack power. Support 2, it's 2, it's 3, it's 3. So this is pretty good for a rush down deck. On top of that, during pair, when it's a coordinated pair, once per turn, when you use this unit support to increase the Zap unit's AP, set this unit as active. So that basically means whenever you support, you can then pair a pilot that has the coordinator type within it, and it will untap this unit. So it'll make it from unactive to active again. So if you want to protect it, you can protect it. Also, if you want to, if I'm correct about this, if I'm not, you can let me know in the comments below. You can also reuse the support. So you can reuse the support after you've attacked with another Gundam and give the Gundam 3 attack. Don't quote me on that, but that's generally what I think it could do. I think that's strong, but the limitation, it being a particular pilot, I think kind of hinders it some. So this Gundam's go ahead and go into the B tier. Okay. Next Gundam we're gonna look at is, I believe it's Freedom Gundam. Let's take a look at it real quick. Yeah, Freedom Gundam. Now, this is a card. It's kind of top heavy. Comes at level 7, costs 5, but I think this is a card that is pretty decent, right? So he pairs with Kira, Triple Ship Alliance. I think there's a good deck out there that uses Triple Ship Alliance. I don't think it's really been fleshed out, but I am a personal fan of Triple Ship. They just help each other out. They have so much synergy. They bring out so many blockers. But Freedom Gundam basically states, when you pair a pilot with this unit, one of your other white units chooses. When you pair a pilot with this unit, or one of your other white units, choose one enemy and gets -2 attack during this turn. That is pretty good. So this unit is a blocker, so it can defend your base, has heavy stats, 4/6, survives most encounters, and then being able to, when it comes out, if it gets paired with a unit, being able to make a attack power -2, pretty good, pretty good. Good for your board control. Good for a lot of things that are in this meta very challenge heavy. I will say this is going to go ahead and go into the A tier, just because it is reliant on a pilot. Besides that, I think it's a pretty good card overall. The next one we're going to go ahead and take a look at is Dual Gundam Assault Shroud. So this says when paired, look at the top 3 cards of your deck. You may deploy one ZAF unit that is level 4 or lower among them. Return the remaining cards randomly to the bottom of your deck. This is a really, really good card. Anything that tutors out or anything that lets you play for free is absolutely crazy. Just for the fact that, imagine playing this down on turn 4, on turn 5, right? 4 costs, and then you get to play another one, right? After this has been paired. So you are going to pair this in order to use this ability. So that's the only downside, is that you have to pair, but the good thing is you don't have to link. So you can put any pilot on this unit and get that ability the same turn. It does cost 4 and it's level 5, so you're going to be able to put a pilot on it regardless. And you're basically getting a free unit on the field. So who doesn't like free units? Free units are always good. Anything free in any card game is good. It does use a pair ability. I do think it's a little bit top heavy for a level 5, but it's still good overall. I'm gonna give it a A. So I'm gonna go in the A tier. Okay. So the next thing we're gonna look at is going to be Gundam Aerial Permit Score 6. It says when paired, choose one enemy unit that is level 5 or lower, gets -3 during this turn. I always think anything that gives negative attack power whenever you're trying to challenge is good. I just think this card may be lacking a little bit. It's kind of too top heavy, and it's a 4/4. I don't think it's gonna see much play. It's decent, but I don't know how I really feel about this card. I just think that there's other level 5 and higher top end cards that are just better than this card, that are more impactful on the field. I'm gonna go ahead and put this in B tier, as it's okay, it's decent. It's like in the middle of the pack that the current meta won't see very many cards that are being played. Okay, you have Sinjadu. During pair, this gains high maneuver during your turn. When this unit destroys an enemy shield area card with battle damage, choose one unit, deal 2 damage to it. This card is it's too top heavy, especially you're gonna go Neon Xeon, Rush. This is more of like a mid-range deck that isn't really being seen, in my opinion, at least locally in the meta. For this, I think this has too much, reliance on not dropping your hand down, right? This is more like a top deck card. It's okay. I don't think it's the best, and I don't think that it's going to see much play until another set comes out. I just think that a mid-range, red-green deck is mediocre, and I'm going to have to just put this in C. There's nothing crazy about it that screams out to me. It's too top-end heavy. The 2 damage is nice, but it just has too much reliance on, to pair it, and then you have to destroy an enemy shield with battle damage, and then you have to choose a unit. Like it has a lot to line up on it. Okay, and then the last Gundam card we're taking a look at here, give me a moment to pull it up on my other screen, is Justice Gundam. So people are going to hate me for this, but I think this card, even though it's very top heavy, it's pretty decent. The moment it comes out, you deploy a 2/2 blocker token, and then during pair, you can choose one of your triple ship alliance unit tokens and attacks the same turn. So and this is just me, but when I played in a sealed event, I had this card, and this is probably just gonna be a sealed event moment, right? This is not gonna happen in a real game, but this has won me a lot of games, right? So like the triple ship alliance, like I said earlier, I feel is really good. Um, there's other triple ship, that aren't LRs that benefit from each other, but this basically is telling you, right? During pair and during attack, um, if you link this and you attack with it, or you wait the next turn and you attack with it, well, you have to link this technically. One of your triple ship units can attack same turn. So the only real benefit that this would actually have is if your opponent has like 2 or 3 shields. I mean, 2 or 1 shields left, and it's going to go ahead and win you the game. Do I think this is meta defining? No, but I do have a love for this card. But really, this card's, in all honesty, even with my love for it, belongs in the C tier. This is my tier list. These are my opinions. So don't take anything I say absolutely to law. So if you like what I put in here and you agree with it, let me know. If you don't, and you're like, man, I don't think I really agree with your list, go ahead and let me know down below in the comments. Share some of your lists with me. I'm kind of curious to see exactly what you guys think is meta at the moment. But this is my tier list. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you liked the video, subscribe. We're going to try and get some more content on this channel and push it forward. Okay, have a great one. Bye-bye.